Hello to everybody. Brennan, you're going to share with us some stuff today about this very interesting opportunity that is personalization that I think the market's not that sophisticated on.
So my slide design is very basic, but I don't have many, fortunately. I'm going to be starting out with a few just theoretical slides on what personalization is in a nutshell. There is a lot of miscommunication about, I think, what it is, starting with slide number one. I think a lot of people, when they think personalization, they're thinking putting things like somebody's name in an email or saying like, hey, Joanna, how's Canada today? Or something like that, right? Personalization is not just telling people what they already know. Personalization, in my mind, is helping curate an experience that somebody has that basically lays out, here's what you should be doing next with me, and here's why you should do it. So basically, at the end of the day, it's making the experience somebody gets with you, whether it be over email or on your website, super relevant and super personal to them, that it aligns with what it is they're looking for. There's tons of like case study data I could share, but the long and short of it is personalization works because niching works. Everyone knows that really niche websites tend to work really well for the niche they target. But a lot of us have products or services that a lot of people could benefit from. But if this could work for copywriters and could work for designers and marketers and so on and so forth, we need to get super generic with how we communicate with that audience, which means we're kind of like common denominator copy, right? Like it's very baseline. This copy needs to speak to everyone, which means you're, speaking to no one. So I can share at the end like some different case studies if you guys are interested, but I'm going to burn through this stuff because that's what you don't want to hear about other people's success. You want to hear about what you can do. So, all right. So in terms of, let me just quickly start with segmentation because you can't personalize without segmentation. In my mind, segmentation is really two different dimensions, if you will. There's vertical segmentation, which is where somebody is in their relationship with you. And then there's horizontal segmentation, which is who somebody is, so how somebody identifies and what it is they need from you. So to take that to an actual example, vertical segmentation could be something like, well, if they're anonymous, we want to get them to be a subscriber. If they're a subscriber, we probably want them to buy our entry-level course. And if they bought that, maybe they become a coaching client. And obviously, depending on your business and what it is you do, this funnel might be just linear like this. It could be branching. It could have a lot of different, a lot of complexity to it. But I'd encourage all of us to sit down, if we haven't done this yet, and figure out what is our basic, given who you are, given what you've done with me so far, what should you do next? And at a minimum, it should be anonymously. They're on your website. Get on your email list. All right. So then comes horizontal segmentation, which are the who somebody is and what it is they need help with. So they're anonymous and they are a designer. They are a subscriber and they're a copywriter. They're a subscriber who's a copywriter, but they also need help with pricing. These are different things we can track on somebody, usually in their contact record in your email marketing app, that will allow us to better personalize, whether it be an opt-in form or an offer or a sales letter to somebody when they're back on our website and when they're getting emails from us. So the two horizontal segments you should be tracking in, but I'm going to wrap this up quickly because I want to get into the fun part. But the two horizontal segments that you should be tracking are the who. So remember, we have our vertical stuff, which is what you see on the right. And then there's the who. So how does somebody self-identify? And this is going to be dependent on you and your business. This could be like, what kind of work does somebody do? This could be what industry are they in, what their job role is, and so on. But basically, the long and short of it is, given where somebody is in your funnel, you want them to do something next. If they're anonymous, get on your list. So, if they're a copywriter, grow your copywriting business by joining my newsletter. If they're a marketer, grow your marketing business by joining my newsletter. You're basically just repositioning your opt-in, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, based on who somebody is. And this just goes through the funnel. So we just want to let them know, hey, we get you. You're a copywriter. We're going to use language that makes sense to you. I'm going to show you this in a second too. Here's maybe a testimonial that resonates with you because you want to see copywriters who have benefited from this. You don't care about the designers who have been benefited. You don't care about the marketers. You want to see copywriters who have been, who have done this, who have forged this trail before. And then there's the what. So the second component, the second type of segment that you're going to want to track, no matter what kind of business you have and what you're doing with personalization, is what is somebody here for? What is it that they're currently struggling with right now? So maybe they just want to start a business. If somebody wants to start a business and they're a copywriter, they need to hear something different than somebody who wants to scale an agency and they're also a copywriter, because agency owners don't see that they have anything in relation to somebody who has got their day job and is thinking about starting freelancing. They think they're worlds apart, even though you could probably help each of them potentially if you say help consultants like I do. So, what you should be seeing on your screen right now is this way where we're affecting somebody's offer, which is the next thing that they should be doing next with us based on different inputs. So who they are and what it is they need. All right. So that's a theory. I know I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to show you now the application of it. So I own a company called Right Message. We build segmentation and personalization and opt-in software. And what you see in front of you now is a customer journey where what it is we're doing. And this is if you've used like automation editor stuff in ConvertKit or Drip or any of these different tools, this should kind of seem kind of similar. So what it is we're doing is we're saying, when somebody is on our site, we want to find out what their need is. So what is it you need help with? Is it starting a business, scaling a business, or selling? And then we want to find out what kind of business they have. So I left it simple, but let's say we have copywriters on our site, designers, and programmers. So we find that out. Oh, I just clicked publish. Crap. We find that out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to route people to a personalized offer or a call to action that we want them to do next. So this ties in, if you remember with my second slide, what somebody should be doing next. So what I'm doing here is, I don't know if you've ever been like on a newsletter and you get an email from somebody and you've been on their list forever, you're an amazing customer. You click the link to their blog post they just published and you're hit with an opt-in form. I mean, that is, first off, that's stupid. Secondly, that's a missed opportunity. So what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, if somebody's a subscriber, I want to find out what they've done with me and then either pitch them on like coaching or don't pitch anything, or maybe my course. So what we're able to do is we're able to say, we have real estate that we're using to get opt-ins. All of us probably have this on our website. But what if we can swap out the opt-in forms in favor of, hey, you should buy this course and here's why, or hey, it's time to go to my coaching program and here's why, depending on where somebody is in your funnel. And what you can see here is we're just pulling in data that we have in this case ConvertKit. So if they purchased our course, yeah, all right. Have they purchased coaching? No. All right, let's pitch them on coaching. So what's really cool about this, and I want to show you this first, and I'm going to show you sales page personalization, which is really exciting, or really web page personalization, I should say, is we can have like a standard, say this is your newsletter opt-in. But what we're doing here is we're swapping out words Mad Lib style based on what it is they told us they need. So if they come to the site, like let's look at my site real quick. So I'm here. Am I making a full-time income freelancing? Yes. I'm solo and I'm a designer. So now the opt-in is about getting a freelance or growing a freelance design business. Now, if I go to the articles page, watch what happens. Articles for web designers, designer, start a design business, products. Let's go look at the products. Training for freelance designers. Interesting. Learn more. Are you ready to raise your design rates? Interesting. Oh, look, here's a quote from a designer, the prominent testimonials from a designer. This is what I'm getting at, is what you're able to do when you start to think about who people are and what it is they need and where they are in their relationship with you, is you can point them to different products, different offers, different things like your newsletter or a product they haven't bought or something like that. And you can change the way you describe it. This is the big thing. You can change how it's described. So in this case, if they're a copywriter, it'll say your copywriting business, like, hey, learn what it takes to finally scale or find a buyer for your software business. So depending on how you're getting this data, you can then change how you position or how you describe, whether it be, an opt-in form or something more down the funnel. So we're using surveying or quiz stuff here to do that, but you can also do things like, hey, if Joanna sends me traffic, if any traffic comes to my site from copy hackers, I'm not going to bother asking them what they do. I'm just going to assume they're a copywriter. And then somebody comes to my site from copy hackers, they're not going to see, hey, like, which one of these are you? They're going to go straight into getting copywriter language as they move around the site, which is super powerful, because then a split second later, somebody comes over from InVision app and they're getting design language and design social proof and design case studies and stuff. So lots of really interesting stuff that you can do when you think in terms of a customer journey, rather than thinking in terms of like, here's my opt-in form that everyone gets. I mean, it's just, to me at least, I really don't like it when like I mentioned before, when I'm on somebody's email list and I'm a very loyal customer, and at every turn, there's pop-ups trying to get my email address. I'd rather either not see them or be shown something that's a little more appropriate for me that I should be doing next to further this relationship. So, one thing you should be doing, and again, I know I'm trying to like cram into 15 minutes an entire masterclass of like what you should be doing. But what I'd encourage anyone to be doing who's listening is to think in terms of journeys people take and how can you enrich what you know about them, who they are, what it is they need help with, and then use that to point them in the right direction to a certain product and describe that product in a certain way. So now I want to show you that describing of a product. So let's say somebody came from a Copy Hackers. They're on the sales page. I can then click on any, headline. I can click on, I can swap out an image like I made it. So this is Jim Doe, copywriter, whereas now it's Maya, the designer, whereas now here's a quote from a programmer. This helped me better understand how to sell my programming skills. This helped me, a lot of designers struggle to put a price on their creativity. So here's a potential testimonial from somebody who was able to get past that. So people, obviously, we all know this as copywriters, people want to see themselves in the product, and they want to, they want to have a strong signal to noise ratio. And the problem is if you're speaking to, agencies and solo people and everything in between and different industries and so on, you end up with these massive sales pages, massive sales letters that have every condition possible, that cover every single objection and focus on like, is this good for people starting out? Yes. And here's why. Is this good for experienced people? Yes. And here's why. Whereas if you can instead minimize that noise and focus it and say, look, I know you're an agency. I know you're a copywriter. Here's exactly like if you're a designer, everything you need to raise your design budgets. Whereas a programmer sees everything you need to increase your development rates. And this is where we get into voice of the customer stuff, because programmers tend to use the word rate, whereas designers use budgets, or I think copywriters often use the word fee, right? So like there's different ways of describing what you get paid, for instance, or the different language that people use. And if you can show them that, look, I get it, you're a copywriter. Here's how copywriters speak. Here's what copywriters need to hear. Here's copywriters who've used this program. That's ultimately what personalization is about. It's not about saying, hey, Brennan, or hey, Joanna, or kind of like one of those kind of parlor tricks that I think a lot of people overly focus on. It's instead saying, look, how can we find out who you are, what you need? Maybe through behavior, maybe based on where you came from, the ad you clicked on, the kind of content you're reading, or we just ask you point blank, like, what is the number one thing you need help with today? Oh, I need help with pricing. Cool. Here's, how you can fix that. So again, I know I ran through this super fast. It's probably the fastest I've ever crammed this stuff in, but hopefully this has been somewhat helpful. And yeah.
Brennan, thank you so much. That was jam-packed.
Yeah,
there are
happy to. I know I ran through that, but hopefully it made some sense.
No, I think everybody's really like stoked about what they could do. So, and chatted out that course link again. If you haven't, go there, get the course, learn this stuff, coach your clients, use this for your own sites, your own products, for those who are here from e-commerce and SaaS. And otherwise, any of those unanswered questions, there are 7 that weren't answered. Sorry, guys. Head over to that Facebook group and ask them there. I'm sure Brennan or his team can help you out. Brennan?
Interesting fun fact about that email course. There are more than 18,000 variations of it, and it only took about an hour to add that.
That's crazy, man.
So I'm using all this stuff to drive a lot of variations for that email course. So
wild. So cool. Thank you so much, Brennan. Thanks, Ange, and thanks everybody for attending and asking questions today. We'll see you. Our next Tutorial Tuesday is all for freelancers, and this replay will be available shortly. Brennan, stay safe. Everybody stay safe. Thanks again, y'all. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.